Dear students, myself Kiran MP. I am working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Government Engineering College, Kushalnagar. In previous sessions, we had discussion about several HTML5 advanced controls such as pattern attribute, data list, select, radio buttons, and checkboxes. Hope all of you are familiar with those HTML5 advanced controls. In this session, let me discuss about few more advanced controls. Now, coming to agenda of this session. First, we will see some button controls. Okay, I mean, you have come across a few types of buttons like submit button or simply a type button, reset button. Got it? So we'll see what actually difference among them. Okay, and button controls. Next, we'll see an important attribute, number and range. So actually, I used to tell you about something known as validation at the client side, right? That is validating a form before submitting to server. Got it? So validation usually does through JavaScript. Okay, so here we'll see without JavaScript how we can validate any input. Okay, got it? Without the use of JavaScript, how to do validation on the user input. So that we'll discuss in number and range. Later, we'll see the other attribute, color. Got it? How to change the similar to like background color, how to change the color of an element. Got it? So now we'll come in detail about each agenda. Now coming to first agenda of the session, button controls. Okay, so while discussing about a simple Gmail login form, I said there were two input fields. One is text box for user ID, the other text box of password. And after that, you need to click on submit button, right? So that is submit. So what actually submit, how it differs from other button, we'll see. So submit creates a button that submits the form data to the server. Got it? On clicking submit button, your form data will be sent to server for processing. The next type of button is we call reset. The name itself says, okay, it creates a button that clears any of the user's already entered form data. Got it? So the next is a type button. Okay, I said validation, right? For validation, okay, creates a custom button. This is not to send form data to the server. Got it? This button may require JavaScript to actually perform some action. Got it? This is simply some button. Okay, on clicking this button, some JavaScript may get executed at the client side itself. So next, input type equal to image. Image means it's like a submit button, but this button uses an image for its display. Got it? Rather than displaying some text data on the button, we can place some image on the button. Okay, so now there is one more element known as button. Okay, so what actual difference between this button and how actually it differs from the one uh, displayed in the first row of this table, that is input type equals submit, and the third row input type equal to button. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, so creates a custom button, customized button. The button element differs from input type equals button. Okay, in that you can completely customize what appears in the button. I mean, using it, you can include both images and text. Using button, okay, you can include both images and text. Or you can skip server-side processing by providing an hyperlink. I'll show you through an example in next slide. Okay, also you can turn this button into submit button by using type equals submit attribute. Okay, now we'll look at an example. So this is very clear. The first two buttons, okay, we have come across our previous programs and your lab programs also too, right? Input type equal to submit. This is, I said, to send the form data to server. Reset. This resets, clears the already entered, user entered form data. Now the third, input type equal to button, value equals click me. Means a button is created, okay, and the name that to be displayed on the text to be displayed on this button is click me, because it's specified for value attribute. Okay, on clicking this click me, some JavaScript might get executed. We need to code JavaScript, and that image is similar to button. Got it? So that is achieved through type equal to image. Now looking at last two buttons, okay, I said button differs from submit as well as input type equal to button, because it allows us to place both image as well as text on the button. Okay, now let me look at that second case. In this case with one image and text contains email. Okay, in this what I've placed a URL on this button. Okay, means I can skip server side program here. Clicking this button may take to some URL, and even I placed one image. Got it? So whereas there one more button with the caption edit. Got it? And one image with okay, one image. Okay, this I said this is like a submit button. Here I placed both an image as well as text data. I repeat, In the second button with image and email, okay, it skips server side program. On clicking this, it takes you to some URL. Got it? Whereas in button with edit, okay, as content, okay, it some JavaScript may exit on clicking this button. Now coming to the next important topic, number and range. Okay, I told you in earlier sessions that before a form, okay, is submitted to server, validation need to take place at the client side. Got it? I mean, for example, let me say if there is one input text box, okay, and input to that might be the born month of a user, okay. So born month, when I say, the value that need to be entered into the text box should be between 1 and 12. If value other than 1 and 2 are entered, it means it's an invalid. So user need to be prompted, okay, user need to be prompted stating please enter value between 1 and 2. Or before sending this value enter, before sending the value in this text box to the server, this value in this text box need to be validated. So we have a range attribute for this. So without using JavaScript, we can do validation. We will look at this through an example. So look at this, okay. In the first part, I've used one label, read this photo, and it follows one input type number, okay, and minimum what I given as 1, max as 5. This is the range. Minimum as 1, max as 5, and name equals rate. And in the next code fragment, I used range, okay, and in this range the min value is 0 and max value is 10. So with this attribute type equal to number and type equal to range, we can do validation without using JavaScript. Clear? Now coming to color. Now I can create an element with my own color. Okay, so as you can see in this example, I've used input tag to create one color element. Okay, one color element and named it as back. So what happens, this GUI, okay, this window with color fields will be displayed. So let me wind up this session now. Thank you for listening.